Hey mods, Gary here, back again to talk to you about style.
Why not talk to them about the surface of Mars while you're at it? You've got as much experience with either.
Well then, be my guest, Biff.
Gary, trade secrets.
Sheesh. With Creation Station, there are literally billions of combinations you can use to create different mods and carts. Think I'm exaggerating? Tell you what, start creating as many different mods and carts as you can, and when your social security checks start trickling in and you think you have them all, send me your list. Not only can you slap tons of cool stuff on your mods and carts, but you can color or modify most of them as well. What do I mean when I say modify? Well, most things like body, clothes, or hair can at least be colored, but some of the cooler stuff can be repositioned, duplicated, scaled, and rotated. This is where your creations really become unique. Before you can modify a part, you first have to put it on your creation. Do this by highlighting a part in one of the many lists and then pressing X to add it. Press X again to remove the part. Bear in mind that a few parts, like the wheels for instance, can't be removed. If you try, the cart will default to the stock set. You gotta have wheels, it's a racing game. Here's a handy tip. If you want to quickly try on a bunch of parts in a list and see them update live without having to press X over and over, simply hold X and move the left stick to navigate the list. Once you've placed a part that you like, press triangle to color or modify it. If you can do more than just color the part, pressing triangle will put you into modify mode. Here you can scale, rotate, or position the item any way you choose. So let's see some personal expression, people. Get in there and have fun with it. Experiment. Discover which parts can be modified, colored, patterned, or duplicated. You'll be making killer creations in no time. Celebrity commentator Gary here again.
More like celery commentator, Gare. Green, tasteless, a little stringy.
Today we're doing two things. Ignoring Biff's insults and talking about colors.
I'm guessing you'll go 1 for 2.
Choosing colors for your mod and cart is one area where you can really get crazy.
Bear in mind, folks, Gary's definition of crazy is wearing a striped tie.
Many parts of your mods and carts are colorable, so generally all you have to do is select the part you want to color and press the triangle button to access the color picker. While you can change up to 3 colors on most parts, some will only allow you to change 1 or 2. The color picker has a list of swatches that has all of the colors that are currently on your mod, your cart, and a list of preset colors to choose from. Simply scroll through the list and pick a color you want, and it will update on your creation. Press L2 or R2 to switch to another color region of the part you are editing. You aren't just forced to pick between preset colors. After all, this is ModNation, and customizing is the name of the game. If you want to make your own color, you can switch from the swatches to the color wheel when that preset yellow just doesn't cut the mustard. The color wheel has 2 main parts, the outer ring where all the colors of the rainbow are, and the inner circle where you make a particular color lighter or darker. Use the L1 button or the R1 button to revolve around the outer ring and select a particular color. Me? I'm a blue man. Once you find the hue you want, use the left stick to make the color lighter or darker. And that's it. Monet couldn't have picked a better shade himself. Want more options? Of course you do. The color picker gives you access to other cool features, material properties, and an option to quickly match colors. Material properties let you change the material of a part, for instance, making something more metallic. It can't change lead to gold, but it can jazz up your carts pretty good. Not all parts can use material properties though, so keep your eyes peeled for when the option is available. And finally, match color lets you copy the current color to many other parts. This is especially useful when you're trying to make costumes and uniforms because you can make all parts match with a single press of the button. You've raced, you've built, you've edited. Now give yourself a distinctive identity in the stickers section. Stickers give you access to tons of images, shapes, numbers, letters, all kinds of things.
I bet you had a sticker collection when you were a kid.
Actually, I did. Each mod and cart is broken down into regions, such as head, body, arms and legs, or, for the cart, left side, right side, top, front, and rear. Each region lets you work with multiple stickers to create your very own modern art masterpiece. Be the next Andy Warhol. Convince rich socialites to pay millions for your creations, or just look cool as you fly towards the finish line. You can go either way. Editing stickers is a straightforward business. Pick a region, then add a new sticker. Flip through several tabs to find the sticker you want, and then modify it to get just the right look. You can position, scale, and rotate a sticker, flip it, skew it, and play with the color and material properties. You can also duplicate a sticker if you want multiple copies, or just similar ones to modify later. Groups are always fun, don't you think? One of the real powers when editing stickers comes from grouping them so you can edit several together. In the Sticker Layers screen, you can add or remove a sticker from a group by pressing L1. Once you've added several stickers to a group, press X to modify it. You will return to the Modify screen and can now position, scale, and rotate the stickers as a single unit. You can also have more than one group per region, which can be quite useful for keeping different stickers distinctively grouped together. Say you wanted 3 different logos on the front of your cart, each composed of 10 separate stickers. Even though they're in the same region, you can keep each 10-part logo separate so you can easily go back and reposition or modify one without having to mess with the others. Want to add stickers to a different group? You do that by changing the target group by pressing left or right on the directional buttons. You'll notice that the number of the target group updates to reflect the change.
What the heck is the target group, Gary?
It's the current group that a sticker will be added to when you press L1.
I see. And what does L1 do?
It adds or removes a sticker to a group.
Uh-huh. And what's a target group?
I'm leaving now. Hey, sports fans. Last time we learned how to add stickers, put them in regions, and group them together.
And we learned you have a sticker collection of shiny butterflies.
I said when I was a kid.
And that, my friend, is why you'll never make Anchor.
Let's move on to advanced sticker editing, shall we? You always start editing stickers from the Sticker Layers screen. Let's take a look at some of the cool extra functions you have to work with here. The clipboard is a great tool that allows you to cut, copy, insert, or replace stickers. Press triangle to cut a sticker or sticker group. This removes it from the list and adds it to the clipboard. Hold L3 and press triangle to change from cutting to copying the sticker. This lets you add the sticker or group to the clipboard, but keeps the original in the list as well. Pressing square will insert a copy of whatever is on your clipboard to the level below the highlighted layer. Holding L3 and pressing square will replace the highlighted sticker layer with a copy of the sticker on your clipboard. You cannot do this with a sticker group, however, only individual stickers. Some clipboard tips. Use cut or copy to move stickers and groups to other regions. Replace is a great way to swap a new sticker with a sticker that is already scaled and positioned correctly, even if it's in a group. Why do more work than you have to? When you want to delete stickers, just cut them. When you leave the screen, they will be gone forever. Tight for time? Here are a couple shortcuts for the Sticker Layer screen that'll save you some thumb skin. Instead of always scrolling up to the Add New Sticker layer, you can hold L3 and press X to create a new layer at your current position in the list. Hold the L1 button and push the left stick up and down to quickly add multiple stickers to a group. Got the hang of stickers and created that perfect logo or work of art? You can share your stickers between creations using the Load Sticker Set option off the Circle menu. From here, you can merge or replace stickers from one creation to another.
I'm sure Gary will share his shiny butterfly sticker collection with you.
I had it when I was a kid.
Yeah, right.
Hey mods, celebrity commentator Gary Reason's here to give you a quick rundown on ModNation's Track Studio.
You're confusing celebrity with visible oddball, Gary.
If you don't have anything good to say, Biff, don't say anything at all.
Plan for silence, Gary.
So, you think you've got what it takes to build an original, kart-testing, mind-blowing track of your own? Then it's time to put your creative pedal to the metal with ModNation Racers Track Studio. First, pick a theme for your world. Do you like jungle, desert, seaside? As you progress in the career, more themes will become available. Now we need a track. Say, that's a nice steamroller.
Mother Nature loves asphalt.
Using the same controls you do when racing, simply drive out your track. You'll have a custom raceable track in no time flat. Once you've laid down your track, it's time to start decorating. With Track Studio's Auto Populate tool, you can add in a huge assortment of trees, bushes, tunnels, road signs, and item pods. Feeling lazy? With one press, the Auto Populate tool will do all the heavy lifting for you. But if you've got great taste like me, you'll know you can do better than that. This is your track, and there's pride involved. Plus, any driver worth their salt knows that real thrills come from controlling things yourself, right? So spice it up the way you want it. With Track Studio, all the tools are right at your fingertips. Check out the powerful Terrain Editor. Anyone can climb a mountain, but in the Mod Terrain section of Track Studio, you can literally build one. Not impressed with that mountain you just made? No problem. With a simple button press, it's gone. Prefer valleys and lakes? Want to blast a path through a hill rather than over it? Mod Terrain gives you the power to do it all. One thing modifying the terrain won't do is change the track itself. For that, you need to use Mod Track, which allows you to change the width and surface and add in punishing turns, tunnels, and sneaky shortcuts to make your custom track truly awesome. Everyone knows that part of being cool is looking cool. Use the Place Props feature to dress up your track with hundreds of unique extras, such as barrels, boost pads, road signs, weapons, and, if you're into that kind of thing, a couple of sheep. With ModNation Racer's Track Studio, you really are the master of your own domain. So go for it. Get out of your cart and into Track Studio. With the limitless combinations of your imagination and Track Studio's toolset, you truly have the power to race, create, and share.
Are you going to be this upbeat all day?
Learning is fun, Grumpy Pants. If you didn't want to do this, why'd you come in?
Apparently, I missed some fine print in my contract.
Let's take a look at the terrain toolset. By now, you've already picked a theme, which sets the basic flavor for your world.
Did you set yours to vanilla, Gary?
I did not. Let's go into the Mod Terrain section, located under the Edit option on the Circle menu, and presto! Now we can sculpt scenery to make a great race and create cool landscapes to blast through at breakneck speed. Pick from one of the many sculpting brushes and spray it out like an airbrush. Got a thing for mountains? Bam! Instant mountains! Don't like mountains anymore? Invert your brush by toggling L1, and now instead of building up terrain, you're carving into it. Did I mention this was easy? The Grand Canyon took 1,000,000 years. I took 4 seconds. If I change my mind, no problem. Bing! It never happened.
I can't tell you how often I've wished for a button like that.
You can also quickly scale and rotate your brushes using the directional buttons. Bigger is better, or so they tell me. Whoa, that's big. Intimidated? Almost all the modes in Track Studio have multiple undo functionality in case you make a mistake. Just press R1 and it's gone. Undo too much? Hold L3 and press R1 to redo. Undo, redo. Undo, redo.
Stop.
By the way, while you're creating all this magnificence, be sure to use the right stick to control your camera view and admire your track from every angle. Another really useful way to see the world you're creating is camera tilt. Just hold down the L3 button and then move the right stick up and down. Like other item lists in Track Studio, your sculpting brushes are conveniently minimized, ready to be pulled up by pressing the square whenever you need them. Up, down, up, down, up. All right, so just look at all those brush options. We've got sculpting brushes, height brushes, surface brushes, and ground cover brushes, each of which serves a different purpose in helping you create the ultimate race environment.
Hey, Gary, why don't you tell us about these special purposes?
I will, and in detail, in the advanced terrain tutorial. Got the basics of terrain editing down? Then it's time to strip off those training wheels and pop the clutch. In ModNation Racers, playing with the terrain can be almost as much fun as racing on it.
Have you ever driven a race, Gary?
That's not the point, Biff.
Just doing my bit to keep your hyperbole in check, Gare.
Oh dear. Remember, there are 4 terrain brush types you can use when you mod terrain: sculpting brushes, height brushes, surface brushes, and ground cover brushes. First up are the bread and butter of your brush toolset, called sculpting brushes. These bad boys let you build up or carve into your landscape, turn molehills into mountains quickly and easily. Height brushes let you set the brush to a particular height. This allows you to spray terrain consistently at a particular level. You can tilt height brushes as well, creating some useful angles in the terrain that wouldn't otherwise be possible. Surface brushes allow you to paint alternate surfaces on your terrain, such as dirt or gravel. Who doesn't like to play in dirt? Last but not least, we have the ground cover brushes. These brushes allow you to place thousands of individual objects like flowers and blades of grass that will sway gently in the breeze.
As you roar past them with weapons blazing.
Yeah. In just seconds, your world has begun to take on a life of its own. You can mod terrain in 2 different edit modes: Sculpt Anywhere and Sculpt Along Track. Sculpt Anywhere is the most common way to alter the terrain. As the name suggests, in this mode, you and your brushes go anywhere. You're footloose and fancy-free. Try to keep your clothes on.
You especially, Gare.
Sculpt Along Track conforms your cursor to the track path and track side. Although you can't actually sculpt the road's surface itself in this mode, you need to be in Mod Track to do that. Sculpt Along Track is an extremely useful mode when you want to quickly build up terrain alongside your track. In a section of Mod Track called Road Styles, one of the options you have is to make the main road surface invisible. If you've gone all Merlin the Magician and made your road vanish, modifying the terrain using Sculpt Along Track is a great way to ensure your terrain changes follow your track path, even if you can't see it.
I keep trying, Magic, but you're always still here when I'm done.
So, I've laid out my track and jumped out of my steamroller.
Why not lay out your track and jump out of the studio?
Now what? Well, you have the basic form of your race, It might even be fun as is, but if you really want it to be good, bust out the circle menu, choose Mod Track under the Edit option, and let's get going. There are 6 categories here: Quick Edit, Road Styles, Repave, Advanced Edit, Branches, and Breadcrumbs. Yes, Biff, breadcrumbs. But first things first. Quick Edit lets you quickly adjust 3 main components of your track: the width, banking, and the ups and downs, referred to in Track Studio as lift. Road Styles lets you add or remove fences, tunnels, and bridges. You can also swap between the many road surfaces available, or even set your road surface to invisible, which allows your track to take on that off-road feel. Be prepared for a bumpy ride, though. There is one other invisible road surface type that has key gameplay elements to it. That is the Instant Reset type. Use this when you want to make a section of the race that you need to jump over, like a canyon or ditch, and you don't want the racers to get stuck at the bottom if they miss the jump.
That's where your career has been for years. Maybe you need an instant reset.
Repave is a mini version of the initial Steamroller experience. You know, if I had a band, I think I'd call it Steamroller Experience.
I'd call it Nobody's Listening.
Select start and end points on your track and redrive the marked section however you wish. This is particularly useful for those times when you download a friend's track and immediately see how you can improve it.
You have friends?
For the hardcore track builder, Advanced Edit gives you finer control of your track's shape. This is how the big boys do it, and most of the tracks you mods started with were tweaked using Advanced Edit. Select individual or multiple control points and then adjust that section of the road in 2 ways: horizontal shift and vertical shift. The reason this section is advanced is because within these modes you are able to edit subsections of the track that Quick Edit just doesn't get into. But listen up. With greater power comes greater responsibility. You can quickly make your track undrivable if you go too far. But then again, that is what the all-powerful R1 Undo is for. Variety is the spice of life, and giving racers a choice of routes is a key component of a great racing experience. Use branches to create alternate routes along your main track. Select start and end points, just like you do in Repave. Track Studio will automatically offer you a branch route. But if you want, you could always hop back into the Steamroller and customize it to your taste. Finally, breadcrumbs. Yeah, you heard me right. We'll get into them in more detail in the next tutorial, but for now, all you need to know is that breadcrumbs serve 2 major purposes.
3 if you count food.
And are an important part of advanced track building. First, they tell the AI racers and weapons where they can leave the main track and take alternate routes. Second, they allow both you and AI racers to leave the main track without resetting. Biff, do you want to take an advanced look at breadcrumbs?
How about if I crush a baguette on your living room floor and take it from there?
Gary Reason's back to talk about breadcrumbs.
Biff Treadwell, back to make sure Gary hasn't gotten into the cough medicine again.
For your information, Biff, placing breadcrumb paths properly can really make a good track great. Breadcrumb paths allow racers to leave the main track path without resetting, and tell AI racers and weapons where they can do the same. Placing a breadcrumb path is straightforward. In the breadcrumbs mode of Mod Track, scrub along the main track until you find the spot where you want to start, and press the X button and draw your desired path away from the track. When you finish drawing out your path, simply return to the main track, press X to accept the connection, and you're done. Keep in mind that breadcrumbs do not lay down any road surface. They're simply invisible markers that indicate another path you can take. If you want to have a new path that is the same surface type as your main road, you would use the branches mode instead. Here's a few tips to make your trails more effective. Breadcrumb paths will always want to move in a forward direction. So if you make a path that ends further back on the track than where you started, the path direction will automatically flip. Be aware when you're using breadcrumbs around your start line. If you try to bypass it, you may have just made yourself the world's shortest shortcut on a racetrack. Also, a breadcrumb path cannot overlap itself. To make a breadcrumb path easier for AI racers to follow, try to remove obstacles and fences that would otherwise block their path. It's usually a good idea to use breadcrumbs in combination with terrain surface brushes. In Mod Terrain, paint out a path with your surface brushes and then go into Mod Track to lay down a breadcrumb path along it. Be sure to add props and road signs for visual clues. If your friends can't see the path, only the ones that are psychic will know it's there. And they have enough of an edge as it is. Let's talk about test driving.
You sure that's a good idea? Last time I took you for a spin, you turned a rather nasty shade of green.
I did not, Biff.
Certainly wasn't British racing green either.
Anyway, Track Studio offers 3 different preview options: Test Drive, Preview Mode, and Test Race. Test Drive puts you in your kart close to where you are working, allowing you to quickly jump between editing and testing. Build a hill, drive over the hill. Place a wall, run into the wall. Okay, maybe not, but you get the idea. Preview mode gives you full control of your camera for that bird's eye view of your track. This is essential when you want to see how different areas of your track are coming along. Test Race is the full meal deal, offering you the total race experience complete with HUD, timers, and item pods. Test Race always places you at the starting line so you can see how your track plays from start to finish. All 3 modes will also drop in AI racers, so you can see how the karts will handle the bumps and turns.
If you hear high-pitched screaming, that's the one driven by Gary.
You can reach the testing modes from the main circle menu, but I like to use a shortcut by hitting R3 to launch the quick menu. They don't call me Quick Draw for nothing. The quick menu lets you instantly jump to either preview mode or test drive. When you back out of either mode, you'll return automatically to the last place you were editing. Think of your world as a hot dog for a second. If the terrain is the bun and the track is the wiener running through the middle of it, then props are definitely the mustard, relish, and ketchup. So, what does a hot dog have to do with Track Studio?
Absolutely nothing.
It was a metaphor, Biff.
I thought it was a hot dog. I'm grabbing lunch.
There are piles of props in Track Studio, and each one serves a different purpose. Some spruce up scenery and add distinctive style to the world you create. Others, such as jumps, boost pads, and item pods, have specific gameplay functionality. Some props, called smackables, like barrels or road signs, break or explode on contact. More advanced dynamic props hold special properties and can be turned on and off with pressure pads or triggers. All prop types are accessible in the Place Props section located under the Edit option on your trusty circle menu. Placing props and selecting props are the 2 main modes for prop placement. You always start in Place Prop mode, and you can choose the prop you'd like to place from a list. As with other item lists in Track Studio, all your props are conveniently minimized, ready to be pulled up by pressing the square whenever you need them. Press X to place a prop. With some props, holding the X button down will cause it to spray multiple copies. Experiment with different props to see which ones spray. You can also quickly scale or rotate a prop with the directional buttons. If you want to select a prop that is already in the world, press L1 to toggle to the Select Props mode, and your cursor will snap to objects as you get close to them. Oh, and of course, there's also Track Studio's exciting undo feature.
Oh, the excitement of undo. Wow.
Press R1 to undo. If you undo too far, hold L3 and press R1 to redo. Remember to use your camera view to check out your handiwork. Use the right stick to control your camera, hold the L3 button, and move the right stick up and down to use camera tilt and really get the bird's eye view.
Fascinating. Tell me more about undo.
I thought you were grabbing lunch.
I was riveted by your encyclopedic knowledge of prop placing.
Placing props is easier than finding sand at the beach.
Yeah, but did you find my wallet?
Just select the prop, scale or rotate it however you like, and move it into position. If you want to set a prop's height, however, 2 more advanced options are available that involve what we refer to in Track Studio as pinning. Notice that if you raise a mountain, the trees raise with it. Yep, they're pinned. It's like the world is made of Velcro. The majority of props in Track Studio start out being pinned to the terrain. But what if you want to place an item pod in mid-air and make players jump for it? You could also put a sheep in mid-air and make players jump for it, if that's your kind of track. Anyway, most props can be unpinned by holding the triangle button and pressing the directional buttons up and down to set its height. There are a few props, such as boost pads, that you can't change their height and will always remain stuck to the ground. There are 3 surfaces that a prop will pin to: the road surface, the ground surface, or the water surface. As you move an object around, it will try and make the best decision as to what it should pin itself to. You can manually override the prop's choice by holding the triangle button and pressing the directional buttons right or left to toggle through the possibilities at that current location. Incidentally, holding the triangle button and pushing the directional buttons right or left is a handy way to jump a prop between overlapping regions. Say, for instance, if your road overlaps with an overpass, or if you want to switch from placing something inside a tunnel to on top of it. Another advanced feature in Prop Select is marquee selection, which lets you draw a marquee around several objects so that you can edit several props at once. In Prop Select, make sure you are not currently locked onto a prop and simply press and hold X and begin drawing out your marquee. When you have encircled the props you want, release X. Now you can select or delete all the objects in the marquee selection. This mode is really handy for duplicating several objects at once. Always keep in mind that L1 is your toggle between placing props and reselecting props in the world. You must always have the prop actually active if you want to scale, rotate, reposition, or adjust its height. Just being locked onto it in select props mode is not enough.
I think someone toggled you from commentator to has-been a while back.
As with editing terrain, there are two different ways you can place props. Place anywhere or place along track. Each mode has its advantages depending upon what you want to do. Place anywhere is the most common way to place props, and allows you the freedom to move anywhere in the world. Need to quickly place props alongside your track? Then the place along track mode is for you. Your cursor conforms to the track path and track side, so you can easily scrub along the track and place objects on or beside it. Want to spray out some buildings or trees like a possessed Van Gogh? Or maybe boost pads and item pods are how you roll. Either way, the place along track mode can help you do it all and keep it all in view of the racers. Because the cursor is constrained to the track, pushing up on the left stick will always move you forward along the track. Pushing down will move you backwards, and left and right will move you laterally relative to the track, regardless of the camera position. What this means is that sometimes, depending on your camera angle, the cursor may not go where you were expecting.
Does this happen to everyone, Gary, or is it just your daily bout of confusion?
It happens to everyone, Biff.
If you say so.
Just remember to always push up when you want to move forward on the track, and you'll get the hang of it in no time. Handy tip number 218. You can jump from the main track and onto breadcrumb paths and branches as you scrub along the track. When you get to an intersection, point towards the new path, and you'll switch to that path. This works for both place along track and sculpt along track. Another thing to keep in mind is that virtually all modes that allow you to scrub the cursor along the track allow you to toggle the speed of scrubbing, slow or fast. Hold L3 and press the triangle button. This allows you to place props with either more precision or allows you to get around the track quickly. Every mod knows that a good race pits you against both opponents and the track itself. But a great race also requires timing, luck, and a bit of danger. Look, Biff, are you going to let me talk about dynamic props or not?
Sorry, Gary. Anytime you say the word danger, I laugh. It's a reflex.
Well, dynamic props are a great way to build danger into a track. Yeah. There are two parts to a dynamic prop: a dynamic object and a trigger. Think of it like a light. The bulb is the dynamic object, the light switch is the trigger that turns it on. In Track Studio, we like to make things even simpler than a light switch, so all dynamic objects can just be dropped into the world. And even if you do nothing else, they'll work as soon as the race begins. But if you want a dynamic object to activate on a specific event, for instance, when someone drives over a pressure pad, then you're going to want to hook your objects up to triggers. You have multiple triggers to choose from. Pressure pads activate when you drive over them, invisible regions activate when you drive into them, and shootable triggers activate when a weapon hits them. Once you've placed a trigger and dynamic object in the world, connecting them requires only a few steps. First, make sure you're not in place props mode. You'll want to be in select props. In select props, you lock on to the trigger you want. Now press square to launch the properties panel, press square again to enter connection mode. When you move the cursor in this mode, you will see the connection line. Simply move the cursor to the dynamic object you want and lock onto it. Press X to accept the connection, and you're done. Play around with the properties of both the trigger and the dynamic object to get various results. Keep in mind that a single trigger can be connected to multiple dynamic objects, and equally, a single dynamic object could be activated by several different triggers. Also take note that jumps and modbots cannot be connected to triggers. With a little trial and error, to say nothing of a little imagination, you'll quickly see how you can change the entire race experience with just a few triggers and dynamic objects.
Say danger again.
No.
Come on.
No. Hey there, mods. Gary Reasons again with a question for you. Who likes to mix things up?
You've always been a little mixed up.
Thanks, Biff. You too. Right now, let's talk about mixing and matching the props you use in the world. See, the props on a given track are automatically tailored to match the theme you chose at the start, such as jungle, desert, seaside, or what have you. But wouldn't it be great to be able to cross-pollinate? Break the rules, I say. Well, in Track Studio, you can. But then, you knew that was coming, didn't you?
I wish I would have known you were coming.
You can mix and match props from up to 3 different themes at once. That's like having your cake and someone else's cake and eating them both. When you feel like theme mixing, maximize the prop list. And if other themes are unlocked, you're able to swap the prop list over to another theme. Then, just like before, pick and choose and place them around the track as if they actually belong there. This is your world, so if you say they do, who's to argue? Now, suppose you reach the 3-theme limit and there's a sheep from another theme that I've just got to have. You're going to have to dump one of the other themes to get Bo Peep in there. But don't worry, we can handle it. Go to the currently used list, which is the last tab on the prop list menu. This shows you all of the props you have for that particular theme. You can use this list to select and delete props in your world by pressing the triangle button. Presto! Each copy of that particular prop is instantly deleted. One thing to keep in mind is that the currently used list is reserved for theme-specific props, and therefore global props such as dynamic props, which are shared throughout all themes, do not appear in the list. Since you can only have 3 themes in one world, use the currently used list to delete all of the objects from a particular theme. Voila! You've got a theme to spare and can bring in the farm animals of your choice. You can also change the entire theme of a world if you like. Go to the main circle menu and look for theme switching under Global Change. This is especially handy if you like the race you've created, but want to change the overall flavor. All right, mods, the Track Studio accountants just called to remind me to brief you on budgets.
Did they ask about me?
No, why?
No reason.
Budgeting in Track Studio is easier than balancing your checkbook. Most of the time, you won't be worrying too much about maxing out the items in your world, but like most things in life, there is a ceiling for how much stuff you can play with. The sky is the limit, but try hard enough, and eventually you'll actually reach the sky. There are 4 types of budgets in Track Studio: the track budget, prop budget, terrain budget, and the theme mixing limit. You can only make your track so long, so if you plan on adding alternate routes after your first blissful drive with your steamroller, be sure to set aside some budget for that. Think of it as a highway development fund. When it comes to props, there are actually 2 budgets: total props and unique props. The first time you place a prop, it uses more budget space than all the subsequent copies. Kind of like business cards. Setting up the first one costs a lot. The second one costs almost nothing. So you can have thousands of the same tree in your world because all but one are actually copies. If they were all unique props, you'd run out of budget a lot sooner. As well, you can only have so many things showing up on screen at once. If a lot of props are clustered together, they may start to pop in and out. You can minimize hallucinations like this by staying off the cough medicine. I know I've learned my lesson. And by keeping props spread out. If you want to delete multiple props, there are 3 ways to do it depending on your needs. One way is to use the marquee selection in Select Props to lasso and kill a group of props. Another is to go to the Currently Used tab in the props list, where you can delete all of a particular prop. Finally, for fans of the Scorched Earth policy, delete all the props in the world by going to the Clear Props option located under Reset in the Global Change section of the Circle menu. If you find you're maxing out your terrain budget, it may be because of instead of deleting unwanted terrain, you're painting over it. Suppose you build a mighty mountain, then change your mind and flatten it with a height brush. You haven't deleted the mountain, just added a flatter layer on top of it. It's like sweeping dirt under a rug. The dirt's still there, it's just out of sight. Out of sight, out of mind is a fine mantra if you've got budget to burn, but if not, you may want to reclaim terrain budget by deleting terrain, especially if you can no longer see it. To do this, go into the Terrain Cleanup option located in the Mod Terrain section of the Circle menu. The last thing to remember is that while you can pull props from other themes, you can only mix props from the theme you're in and 2 additional themes, for a total of 3. So if you're planning to mix and match, choose your 3 themes well.
1 plus 2 carry the 4.
Biff?
Just checking. You're good.
Like an onion, a good track has a lot of layers to it. Though, where onions make people cry, your track probably shouldn't.
On the other hand, your track won't taste good sliced onto pepperoni pizza, so everything has its place.
Okay, let's go through a checklist of things you can add to your track to take it from super to supreme. Item pods. These are essential if your track is designed for face-melting action races. But remember, you want your players to feel like they've earned that item pod, so don't give them out like bonuses on Wall Street. Boost pads are another key element to a great race. But don't go boost crazy, or you might find that your track doesn't handle very well. Directional arrows and road signs. Ever get the feeling you're driving in circles? Ever try it at high speed while other mods are shooting at you? A few well-placed directional arrows or road signs can ensure your racers are worrying about the opposition rather than the direction they're going. Track variation. A well-stocked track needs to have a good balance of twists, turns, eye-watering straightaways, elevation changes, jumps, and ramps. Also, make sure to include at least one truly killer moment that racers can look forward to on every lap. Branches, breadcrumbs, and shortcuts. Give racers choices, ideally ones that offer high risk and high reward. Up the ante and see who has the courage to push their luck. Dynamic props. These can really energize a race by adding surprise and a hint of danger. So go ahead, challenge your racer's skills while adding luck and timing as factors as well. Surfaces. Want to keep each leg of the race feeling springtime fresh? Vary your surface types. There are plenty to choose from, and each theme has a few of its own. There's a few things I shouldn't have to tell you, but I'm going to do it anyway. We'll call these the Biff rules.
What?
Can you race it yourself? Can the AI? We've given you an awful lot of power to play with here. Have you abused it? Used it for evil rather than good? No matter what I say here, you're still going to be able to make a track virtually undrivable if you really have your heart set on it. But why not do everyone a favor and make sure that you and the AI can make it around the track in good form?
Why were those Biff rules?
No reason. Today we're going to talk about something that's top secret.
Gary, you swore you'd never tell anyone.
Those mods you've been racing against aren't really people.
Yes. Carry on.
They're actually artificial intelligence controlled by a supercomputer. If you want actual human competition, you'll have to go online to find it.
There are tons of players out there waiting to blast you back to last Sunday, Gary, so make sure you start with clean undies.
Thanks, Biff. You've got multiple modes to choose from. You can join a casual race that someone's already set up. Control freaks can also host their own casual races. You pick the mode, the track, and all the rules. You're the boss. Or pit yourself against ModNation's best in officially sanctioned XP races. You have to race what the MRC dishes out, but these races pay out XP for rising to the challenge. XP is how the MRC separates the champs from the chumps in online racing. The better your finish position, the bigger the payout at the end of each race. You also get speed, style, and combat bonuses, so don't hold back. But you don't get XP for listening to me, so move it!
Frankly, given the pain involved, we should get XP for listening to you.
Hey everyone, let's talk about sharing.
Oh, please, this isn't an after-school special. Let's talk about amazing the online community with your incredible content, and then basking in glory, public adoration, and worldwide celebrity.
You really enjoy your job, don't you, Biff?
You betcha.
There are two parts to sharing: publishing and downloading. Publishing puts your creations out there for the public to vote on, download, and play with. Imagine thousands of people driving, crashing, and competing on a track you built from scratch. Or seeing a statue of your mod in the mod spot, your reward for designing the week's most downloaded creation. Once you've built a track you're proud of, go to the Share section in Creation Station and choose Publish. The Publish option will show you the available slots that you can publish to. Press X to get a list of your available creations, choose one, and you'll get a screen where you can enter details.
Brag.
Okay, maybe even brag a little about your creation. Once you've finished with the details, press Start to publish it, and voila! Your creation is now online for everyone to enjoy or despise, depending on the mood you were in when you designed it. While it's better to give, it's also pretty good to receive. Or reach out and grab, as the case may be. The flip side of publishing your creations is downloading others. Either select a player in ModSpot and choose View Creations, or go to the Share section off the circle menu or in Creation Station and use the Search feature to browse for creations. The Search browser lets you search by categories, like highest rated, newest, or most downloaded, and so on, so you can lock in on the most interesting creations out there.
Can you search by Biff?
Actually, you can. You should try it. You might actually find yourself.
Indeed. How zen.